It's really thinking.
Good morning, team. Today is Friday, May 15th. Welcome to Friday Flex or Flex Friday. What Aaron and I have done is we've kicked off a new series, which we have here, Friday Flex. And what we like to do is we like to bring on a guest, and our guests cancel last minute. We understand that our guests have lives just like you, just like us, and sometimes life throws us a curveball. But doesn't mean that the show must not go on, and it will. The show must go on. So what we have here today is Aaron and I are going to talk about the current events. The whole premise behind Friday Flex is we kind of just encompass in about 15, 20-minute discussion of what has happened over the last week. And what we want to address today is everything ladies. We're going to talk about women's softball. We're going to talk about the WNBA, and we're going to talk about women's flag football. It's gaining a lot of traction, both at the high school level, the club level, as well as in the collegiate level, and we're going to see it in the 2028 Summer Olympics. But first, I want to get into Aaron. Aaron, say hello, and she's going to tell you about how our segment is kicking off as to softball because of her daughter ending her senior year in high school. Aaron, good morning. Welcome.
Morning. Good morning, guys. Thanks for joining Thomas and I this morning. Super excited about this edition because it's all things girls, which I love dearly. My daughter is a softball player, just wrapped up her senior season, and could not be more proud of her. It's kind of a bittersweet moment. Chapters closing, doors, everything's moving and shifting. And so super excited to see, I think, the trajectory too of women's sports. I think a lot of exciting things happening in the world today. And actually today, the College World Series kicks off for the ladies. So they'll get started with their regional games, move into super regional, and then they'll be in the World Series. So super excited for what's ahead.
Awesome. Let's go back to that before we get into this. This is a great little teaser. When Aaron and I were talking about what slides we were going to use, it's easy to use women's softball, but if you take a look at this photo, it's something really important that we want to stress is women are going to get into fast pitch. This is going to be overhand, and this is super exciting. I believe the MLB is sponsoring this. Is this correct, Aaron?
So there's a professional softball league. I think they just expanded teams. So I think this is their second year. They're going to start after the College World Series wraps up. And then there's also a professional baseball league for ladies too. So there's a lot of things out there that I don't think we know existed or for women. But yes, the Utah Talent, I didn't even realize we had a team in Utah actually won the championship last year.
There you go.
We got two UCLA girls in our draft this year. And one of them is one of the top 10 finalists for Player of the Year. So exciting stuff.
Well, this is super exciting simply because, when I was coming up in high school in the early 80s, it was the USFL, and it gave young men an opportunity, a double shot at making it to the NFL or to professional football. But unfortunately, USFL has collapsed. But that's a perfect segue in for a lot of young women don't realize that they can go on to play at the next level. And there are plenty more opportunities starting to come with professional baseball, fast pitch softball, as well as flag football. So let's get into that. That next shot. Oh, who do we have here?
Yeah, so that's my daughter. She actually got to meet, I'm going to say her name wrong, Najee, who is the pitcher for the Texas Tech Red Raiders. She was the first girl that got a big NIL deal last year. Tremendous pitcher, is one of the top 10 finalists. And I'm proud to say that the Utes actually beat them. So as we talk about the College World Sports Series, I think it's, we were talking about this off camera. It's like, softball is one of those where, you have to have incredible pitchers, but you have to have incredible players at every position. And it really is a team sport. Like, you can't build a program around one girl. And so it's going to be interesting. I think this is going to be really fun to watch over the next couple of weeks because we had some big upsets in the conference tournaments this past weekend with Oklahoma got beat. Tennessee got beat. They didn't win. Texas Tech got beat. They got beat by Arizona. So it can be anybody's game. And you're now in a situation where it's kind of you have to win or you go home. And so these girls have to put it together. So hopefully these losses for people like Texas Tech kind of are the fuel that they need to make the run to the World Series. So Texas is starting to come together at the right time. They actually won the SEC championship, so that was exciting to see and battled back a lot of great talent. The young woman we talked about, I think a couple weeks ago, that got her $1 million deal from Nike. So just some really exciting stuff, I think, happening in the women's space. And I think what I love most about the women's game is all these girls are being paid for their performance and not their potential. These aren't like hopefuls or, these girls actually are out there delivering on what they can do, and not saying that the men aren't. The money's just being spent very differently. So,
no doubt. No
we're
doubt.
excited.
Yep.
And we had the Megan Grant from UCLA actually break the home run record for the single season after almost 31 years. It was actually 31 years for somebody to actually beat the record. So congratulations to her. Super exciting stuff there. I think she was in the top 5 of the professional softball draft that also happened. There's been a lot happening in the softball world. So lots to catch up on, keep up with. But if you haven't gone, for those that are tuning in, if you have not gone to watch either collegiate, I love all softball, but collegiate softball as well as the professional softball, it's a real treat. These girls are phenomenal athletes, and it's so fun to watch, and it plays at a very fast pace.
Yeah, well, you hit it on the head, and that's one of the things that we definitely wanted to address is that in the NIL space, I want to just reiterate what Aaron said, that in the NIL space, what's so beautiful and what for these young women is they are getting paid for their productivity, not potential. And we're seeing we understand that the lion's share of money is in men's football and basketball, but it's nice to see these ladies getting rewarded with nice contracts and definitely delivering. Not to say the men aren't, but a lot of these men need to take a page out of the ladies' playbook and really produce. So awesome. Go ladies, go softball, and we'll keep you posted on the Ladies World Series. And let's get into the WNBA.
Awesome.
Okay. Yeah, the WNBA is something that's very special for us because these young ladies work just as hard as the men without the recognition. I'm not going to get into the political side that they should be paid more, et cetera, et cetera. That's a whole different conversation. My focus is on just the athleticism of these athletes. They are just incredible. And we have seen time and time again that these ladies can bring in the joy and bring in the fan experience just as well as the men. So the WNBA is kicking off. My only thing that I want to pull back the curtain on is that I just hope that the WNBA, I don't watch the WNBA, not because I don't like women's basketball. I just don't like the political side. I don't want to get into the black and white of Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese and all that other nonsense. I just think that women work so hard to be recognized as athletes, start acting like athletes and not this catty nonsense. So that being said, go ladies. What would you like to add to the WNBA?
I think it's just I think if you focus on your skills and your talents and what you bring to the court, and let that do the talking, it's going to be an interesting year. I really am excited to see how Caitlin Clark bounces back from injury. There's a couple other girls as well. So, it's exciting to watch. It's fun to see girls setting, I think Caitlin Clark already set another record. Will she continue to hit those milestones? I think the fastest player to 1,000 points and a couple other things. So it's fun to, see those milestones being hit. And I think it's good for the game. I think more and more people are starting to tune in. It's becoming more competitive. And so I think it's really exciting. Again, for the ladies, keep working hard, keep showing up. It's going to pay off.
No doubt. No doubt. Now, something that I'm super excited about, and do we have another slide, Aaron?
Yeah, which this is the wrong football, so apologize.
No, but what's great about this is, and I don't know if that's just a glitch because it looks like you have a football in the hand and they're also kicking a soccer ball. And I have no idea what sport that is, but
We can thank AI for that
it
image.
could be a great segue into women aren't just reduced to football in the European or South American sense. Women's flag football is taking off at a tremendous pace. And it's only going to get better, and it's going to get more exposure in 2028. We have the Summer Olympics where flag football will be a featured sport. So it's going to be an Olympic event. So this is giving an opportunity to a lot of women that are fantastic softball players, just fantastic athletes. Bless you. Fantastic athletes to give them opportunity to play flag football and compete at a high level with the men.
Yeah, I think it's exciting to see another sport that I think just opens up doors for women, which I think is exciting. It's really taken off. You're seeing more and more colleges, high school, states start to have it as a sanctioned sport, which is awesome. And so I think it's going to be and it's a completely different game than football too. So even for the men in flag football. So I think it gives more athletes more opportunities to compete and play at a very high level. And I think we're going to see lots more of this to come. So yeah, we have great contacts in the rising girls flag football space. And we're excited to see where this goes, see what happens, and continue to just watch the trajectory of the game as it grows and evolves.
Awesome. Yeah, a little sneak peek into Blueprint is what we're going to be doing right now. We're literally in negotiations to start putting on flag football camps for women, girls only, young men, young women, and these girls at the high school level and even at the collegiate level. You've heard me stress this before. Not everybody, I'm talking about the men, not everybody, you know what? I take that back, men and women. Not every high school athlete is cut out to play at D1. Not everybody's going to go to Nebraska, Arizona, Notre Dame. There are going to be some athletes that still need to hit the roster on the D2, D3, and now NAIA. I have noticed that I believe there's well over a dozen schools across the nation that have flag football as a competitive sport, not just a club sport, but a competitive sport for women. And now I am going to get a little political and probably get on my soapbox. It is wonderful to be able to have a degree from one of these fine institutions, whether it's UCLA, Arizona, Notre Dame, and fill in the blanks. But honestly, that piece of paper is important. College education is important. I'm not going to deny that. But also being given the opportunity to go and play sports at the next level and get an education. One of the things that was taught to me by one of my mentors, college shows you could start something and finish it. There's a lot of red tape. There's a lot of hoops that you have to jump through. So why not continue your college education playing a sport that you love at a different division, at a lower division, D2, D3, or NAIA? I don't want to get too preachy on that, but that's one of the things that Aaron and I take pride in, is we have 100% placement of our athletes. We find out what school matches their skill set, and if that's what they want to do, they could push towards that. And something that Aaron and I have shared, as well as with our guests, if you're good, they're going to find you. And now with the advent of social media and all the half a dozen plus platforms, you're going to get recognition, and things are going to go viral. Little clips and little posts that you don't think will go viral will definitely go viral. I don't have a magic wand, and I don't have a crystal ball on what works and what doesn't work. The social media platform market world will let you know what they like and what they don't like. So that being said, there's a great opportunity for athletes, young men and women, to continue their sports career well past high school. And if it's the pros, well, that's something else that you could work for, and that's a whole nother conversation. But back to women's flag football, there's plenty of opportunities for these women, but I strongly encourage you to get started now and do that in the high school level. It might just be a club sport, might just be a weekend sport, but with the advent of it being an Olympic event 2028, I suspect right after that, it's going to be a boom. I'm just going to, kind of share a little funny anecdote. I've always done triathlons. I've done triathlons for the last 15 years. And when I lived in Southern California, I swam at Santa Monica College, which was actually one of the qualifying pools for the 1984 Olympics. And I remember after every Olympics, and we would see Michael Phelps and all the swimmers, everyone got into swimming. And it's just like the New Year's resolution. For about the first 4 to 6 weeks at the beginning of the year, the gyms are crowded and then starts to weed out. Same with the pools. So I think that this is going to happen with women's flag football. And I hope it's not just a fad. I hope it really takes off like wildfire. Aaron.
Yeah, I think it is going to take off like wildfire. I think we're already starting to kind of see it. Plus, it's one of the, I think, sports where it doesn't uh, require high skill in the sense of like you're not trying to hit a ball like in softball. It requires a lot of athleticism, but not as far as high technical skills. And so I think it suits a lot of women who are athletic, but maybe, hand-eye coordination. Like if you ask me to hit a softball, I'm terrible. So, I think it's just going to open the door for so many other women and, for them to take what they've learned in another sport and apply it there. So I think there's nothing but exciting things ahead on the horizon for female athletes, both in basketball, softball, women's flag football. I think we're just going to continue to see the rise, popularity, and more people tuning in to watch it. So congratulations, ladies. You're starting to take notice.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, team, that being said, I think we touched the high points. It really is about an opportunity to just celebrate women. Women athletics is starting to gain a lot of traction. We love to see that they're getting their NIL money and they're taking an opportunity to really expand the NIL opportunities and options that these young women have. And let's just keep the ball moving down the field, pun intended, to make sure that these ladies are recognized for their athletic accomplishments as well as their scholastic accomplishments. And we could never, ever, ever rule the ladies out. They're just as dominant as the men.
Well said. Thanks for joining us, you guys, on Friday Flex.
Have a great weekend.